So hi, welcome to Guys Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with...
I'm Haley from Gore.
I'll ask you some questions to say about the upcoming EP, A Bud That Never Blooms. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
It's been a whirlwind. I knew that this EP was something like special to me. I just didn't realize that everybody else was going to receive it so well. So I'm blessed and very surprised too.
Hell yeah. The EP is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Hell yeah.
Of course. So is there any meaning behind the EP title or cover art?
The EP title, A Bud That Never Blooms, is an excerpt from one of the first lyrics that I ever wrote. And that's also a part of Pray as well. And essentially that is more of an expression of me kind of coming into my own musically, because I always used to just join other people's bands, never really like started my own art. So this was kind of a way of putting that into place. The album artwork epitomizes the vision of kind of almost like this overwhelming femininity and softness, but juxtaposed with like more disturbing imagery and some of the trials and tribulations that come with, you know, femininity and being a woman or a feminine person. So
gotcha. So this is the first time where it's like your art, like your band and your art.
Yeah.
Not bad for like the first shot. Obviously, you've been in bands in the past, but not bad for the first shot, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I do. I can't attribute some experience to the past for sure, but it's definitely the first time really taking the reins. So
that's exciting. Hell yeah. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the EP?
Yeah, so this first EP was written in kind of a unique way. The band at the time was literally just me, but I knew that I wanted to create something special. And the two producers are good friends of mine. Their names are Caleb Freehout and Ben McGinnis, and they own Miserable Productions. And I went into their studio and we wrote over the course of a week. And a week later, coming out of St. Louis, I left with 5 beautiful songs that I loved very dearly. And I knew that I wanted to create a group with that. And then, you know, with that, Alex and Devin came on, and we've written obviously songs with them since that haven't been released yet, but it's been a good cadence, I'd say.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. So obviously this EP was you and a couple of producers writing it, and then the band came in later, but you've written with the band since. So curious, like, is there one that you prefer, like collaborators versus working with the group versus even maybe writing by yourself, if that's something that you do?
I think prefer definitely to work with everybody that's in the band, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't always think that necessarily produces the songs that are always going to be the most successful, but having everybody's handprint on a piece of artwork as much as you can. A lot of times it's not possible, or sometimes, but I think it's important, you know, especially because everybody wants to feel their handprint on a project. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah. So what song off the EP took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Oh, man, I think Doomsday probably took the longest to write, because initially the first verse was quite different, at least instrumentally. And I remember us getting done with it, and I was like, I think we have to redo this. I'm like, it's just not hitting the way that it should be. You know, that I think that would have probably the most iterations, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
My favorites are 2. So there's 2 of them, because they're very different, right? Babylon is my favorite, like, metal song, right? Like metalcore track. And then I would have to say that other than that, my favorite ballad on the EP is Heaven is Above Me. That's the first Gore song ever written, was Heaven is Above Me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. Hell
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hell
badass.
yeah. So for this question, I want you to pick your favorite lyric off the EP and tell us the meaning behind it.
Ooh, oh man, I don't know. Okay. That's a tough one. I have to say, I think the entirety of Babylon, the chorus, has such an incredible, like, multi-layered meaning. That chorus is essentially epitomizing the meaning behind the song, which is kind of my desire to have like a more traditional nuclear family with a strong and loving husband and children, and having to put that dream to rest due to the multitude of failed relationships, which I think a lot of people, not just women, but I think a lot of people can relate to that, right?
Mhm.
And when the flood comes, bury me in your arms, it has to do with like wanting to be in a safe place with somebody.
Mhm.
And then it also references religious imagery, right? With like Noah's Ark and the Great Flood.
Yeah.
So there's just like so much happening in that line that I love so much.
Yeah, that's an awesome line. Oh yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Really fucking oh, sorry.
No, you could
No,
curse.
you're good.
Go
Go.
for it.
Go for it.
Very depressed. Like I was not in a good spot. And I think that I don't necessarily think that you have to be in a bad spot to write good music. I actually think that oftentimes you have to be the best music that you make comes on the other side of that. I actually think that a lot of the stuff that we've written now is even better. But I think that was such a beautiful and cathartic process for moving past that time. It was a very dark place, and I'm guessing in certain spots that probably comes out. In the EP, I didn't have like a home base. I was like jumping between different places living wise. My mental health was terrible. My physical health was terrible. So I think that like EP writing it kind of like healed part of me almost.
Yeah, that's good. You said like, you've written stuff on the other side of it. I would hope you're doing better now.
Oh yeah. I mean, aside from obviously the success that Gore has seen so far, my life has definitely taken a turn. Both just, luck wise and for my own doing. So things are a lot better.
That's good. Happy to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. Because in the past you've joined other projects and it hasn't necessarily just been like you fronted your baby, because this is your project and this is all authentically you, is there any additional pressure or anxiety with this releasing?
Oh, absolutely. I feel so much more pressure with this project than I ever did other ones. Like, don't get me wrong, I was definitely attached to the outcome with like projects in the past. I worked really hard. I practiced every day, the sets, but it's different when you're basically exposing yourself in all your vulnerability.
Yeah. I
definitely feel a lot of pressure, and that coupled with the fact that I am naturally pretty much a perfectionist person, it is hard to I always have to center myself and be like, this is art. This isn't measured by success. This is art. It's completely subjective.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this EP for the first time? Should do in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is work guide EP, party EP? What do you personally recommend?
Definitely don't think. I think parts of the EP could definitely be a party. But to listen to the EP in its entirety, I actually recommend being alone and with headphones on, because it definitely goes through a lot of different feelings, especially like Heaven is Above Me, the last song on the EP. One of my personal favorites is about the tumultuous relationship between like a father and his children. So like that's not really a party vibe necessarily.
No. quite literally the opposite.
Yeah. So this one should be super, super quick. Off top of your head, I want you to describe this EP for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Sad. Sensual.
Okay.
And definitely tumultuous, because there's a lot of different facets in this EP. I'd say it's those 3 words.
All right.
Perfect.
And then that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the EP?
I don't think I want necessarily a feeling. The goal is to just make people feel and feel that intensely. Like that almost like physical manifestation that you get when you listen to a song that you really connect with for the first time. You get like goosebumps. That's how I want our listeners to feel. And whatever feeling that may be, that's theirs to own. Even if it's hate, you're like, man, I hate this EP, feel it all the way.
At least they checked it out. You got their stream.
True. Yeah.
You won.
And are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of this EP, positive or negative?
Oh yeah. So I am a very I think it's left brain. I'm an engineer. So like my brain is very like detail oriented. It's funny because I'm a very emotional person, but I just box it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say the writing process was definitely the most challenging for me and to kind of get out of my own way. But once you get past it and you create something that you're really proud of, I don't think there's many better feelings that you can have. The positive experience was just being able to take my like very A-type brain and methodical brain and kind of put it into creating the business aspect of it, which is way less glamorous, right? But it's a crucial part of creating a band, and seeing that succeed was very reaffirming for me.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Love it.
So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
First of all, I'm at Buc-ee's.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Do you guys know what Buc-ee's is?
Never been, but heard of it.
Okay. Let's get one thing straight. I'm at Buc-ee's.
Right.
And probably the beaver nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just simply too good, especially the white cheddar ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating those, maybe crying a little bit because I haven't slept in days, but at least I've got beaver nuggets. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Caviar. Refined taste. Took way too much money to make. Yeah, that'd be caviar.
At least you're honest, man.
I fucking love it. Yeah.
That's great. And for the last couple questions, going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Ooh, okay. Old fashioned is a drink.
Okay.
Sucker for old fashions. My last meal. Can I have dessert too? Or can it only be a meal?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so cheesecake. I'm all about that cheesecake.
Uh-huh.
And then probably brisket. Probably brisket. Anything with brisket.
Yeah. I fuck with brisket.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Ooh, in Zelda's Breath of the Wild, or like in World of Warcraft's Azeroth. Tied between those two.
Yeah. Good picks.
I sense a gamer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I grew up really popular.
Yeah. Gamer, and now you front the metal band. Yeah. And I've asked the last question. Every single person who's spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Pastel pink.
Ooh.
Duh. You
Pretty,
see Gore, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the meaning behind pink? It's like, well, obviously there's other reasons, and like also it's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty.
There you go. Well, as I said, that's all the questions you have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Only things is the EP is coming out October 24th in its entirety. And we'll be on tour within the ruins for 5 days, going in Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas, October 9th through 13th. So if you want to see us play live for the first time ever, that's going to be the time. So.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. All right. Well, thank you. It's been Haley from Gore, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.